I'm Yvette Fraser Rodriguez, and welcome to the show about Oregon history. In the show, I play our fearless leader, Principal Smith. Before we begin, I'd like to thank all the volunteers that helped with the show. I'd especially like to thank Mrs. Grant, Miss Miller, Mrs. Luther, Mrs. Hazenberg, and Mrs. Saviola. The fourth grade classes have worked hard on this production. Today, they have had over 2,000 rehearsals for over 100,000 hours of practice beginning last October. Now, I'd just like to remind you to turn off all cell phones, pagers, and crying babies. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Mr. Tran, how can we think of a project?
Oh, it's not that hard. You can do something on Lewis and Clark, or the Oregon Trail, or any topic going into Oregon. Yes, Gyro?
Can you make something?
Well, of course. Maps, drawings, pictures. You can also draw it to memorize a skit.
Oh, that's so easy. Last year, I memorized 300 pages and played the lead part of the school show.
Rachel, it may be easy for you to memorize, but it seems that you have a hard time remembering to raise your hand.
Sorry, Mr. Tran.
As an added prize, all teams that complete the project by the due date will get to go to an ice cream party.
This will be easy. Can't read, you join me. Bicycle make a report. I will start with the first people ever to come to Oregon, Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark, they weren't the first people to come to Oregon. No way. Are you forgetting something like the Native Americans who lived here for thousands of years before Lewis and Clark traveled to Oregon in 1805?
Oh, good point. That's right. Or Indians here. Let's start our book with a picture of a teepee. I can draw that.
Wrong again. You know, you have a lot to learn about the Native Americans. The tribes that lived on the coast in Oregon made houses from the great tall cedar trees. They were called longhouses or plank houses.
Sometimes 30 or 40 people could live in one of these houses. They were comfortable and kept the family warm and dry in the winters. That is very important in the Northwest.
For them, nature was totally connected. They made sure that they did not overfish or harm the environment around them. Native Americans often
And another thing, don't call them Indians. That was the name the people that Columbus gave the people because he was searching for India.
They lived in perfect harmony with nature for thousands of years.
Native Americans often made up stories or legends about nature. For them, the raven, the eagle, the salmon, and the hawk were very important.
Everything was connected, like a circle. A perfect circle has no beginning or ending.
That's why it was called the Circle of Life.
potlatch.
Today, our team consists of Josiah, Ethan, Cassie, and Cameron is going to present a skit about a potlatch. Before they begin, you can tell me something about a potlatch. Haley?
Wasn't it a ceremony that your coastal Native Americans performed?
Yes, that's right. But why did they do it?
The purpose was for a chief or an important person to give away all that he had. The chief became much greater if he gave away everything.
Yes, Aubrey?
Why would the chief want to give everything away? Then he wouldn't have anything.
Well, Aubrey, let's watch and see if we can figure it out.
Hear ye, hear ye, the chief is about to speak. Good evening, my friends. It is an honor for me to be here and a great honor for me to call this potlatch. The purpose of this potlatch is for the person giving the potlatch to give away everything he has. That way he will receive a gift greater than any other, honor and respect. Hunting Bear, will you come forward?
Yes, Chief.
Hunting Bear, this is a spear to catch salmon. It was given to me by our long-departed chief, and it was given to him by his father, who was a great fisher of salmon. I want you to have it and hunt with it.
I'm very honored. Thank you very much.
Birdwoman, come here.
Yes, Chief.
Birdwoman, this is a basket my mother gave to me. It is great for catching wild berries that grow by our shores. I want you to have it.
Thank you, Chief.
And so in this way, the chief gave away everything he owned and made everyone feel good. So everyone liked the chief even more, and he had the greatest gift he could have, the respect of his tribe.
Even though I have no possessions, I am now the richest person in my tribe because I have respect and honor.
Give all he has away, and this is the way correct to earn honor and respect.
Yes, I know it's hard to believe that it's better to give than receive. Yes, I know it's hard to believe that it's better to give than receive. So people, don't be greedy. Be sure to help the needy and do what is right and fair and give because you care.
Yes, I know it's hard to believe that it's better to give than receive. Yes, I know it's hard to believe that it's better to give than receive.
Yes, I know it's hard to believe that it's better to give than receive. Yes, I know it's hard to believe that it's better to give than receive.
Class, our history lesson now shifts to French, which is far across the Atlantic Ocean. Who is presenting something about the Louisiana Purchase?
We are. The year was 1802. In 1802, France owned about a third of what you now call the United States.
The ruler of France at that time was a short-lived guy named Napoleon. He had a big problem. It was all cash.
Mason, Nathan, Carson, and Leo will present the skit about Napoleon and Jefferson. Announcing the Emperor of France, Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte. General Khan is here to speak with you.
Please send him in.
Good morning, Your Highness. Your Highness, I regret to inform you that our treasury is very low on funds.
How can this be, Monsieur le Count? We've been winning wars all over Europe. The French army is the best equipped army since the Roman Empire.
That is true, Your Highness, but the French army is also the best fed and most expensive army since the Roman Empire. Your Highness, we're broke.
Don't have any money. Don't have any friends in the bank. No, it's not too funny. All I got is time without a dime. I got the French break blues, and anything can happen to you. It kinda feels like the flu. Achoo!
Don't have any pesos. Don't have any rubles. No dollars or marks. So all I got is time without a dime.
I got the French break blues, and anything can happen to you. It kinda feels like the flu. Achoo! No friends in the bank and nothing to do. Broke or dear, what can we do?
I suggest that Your Highness either cut the army or sell something.
Cut the army? No, 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 never. That means I have to sell something. What could I sell? Palaces, artwork. I've got it. I'll sell my wife Josephine's expensive jewelry. Oh my God! Dad! Bought it!
Your Highness, I think that the Empress Josephine would take kind of like having her jewelry sold.
Yes, you are correct about that. What else can we sell?
Well, Your Highness, you might consider selling some land. France owns quite a lot of land in America. It could be worth millions of francs.
Millions and millions. Magnifique. Bunny Day, that's a great idea. Send a representative too sweet to President Jefferson. What's that land to us? It's just a bunch of trees and rivers. Phooey, we don't need it, and we can sure use the francs in the bank.
President of the United States, the Honorable Thomas Jefferson. Mr. President, the Ambassador of France is here to see you. Also, Mr. Gallatin, the Secretary of Treasury, would like a word with you.
You sent Mr. Gallatin in?
Mr. President, I have some very interesting news. According to our spies, Napoleon is broke, and the French may be willing to sell us Louisiana.
So that's why the ambassador wants to see me. What do you think the land is worth?
Well, if France sold us all their land, it could double the country. It's estimated that there are 600 million acres. At $1 an acre, that would make the land worth at least $600 million.
Well, that's a lot of money. I don't know if we can afford it. But stay. Let's listen to what the ambassador has to say. Maybe we can bargain with him. Mr. Wilbur, will you please show the ambassador?
Certainly, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd like to present Mr. Libro, the Ambassador of France.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Secretary Gallatin. I shall come right to the point. The government of France like to sell America the land we call Louisiana. We'd like to ask them to pay us $15 million.
$15 million? And we were going to pay $600 million?
Well, take it. Good work, Gallatin, but now you must find a way to explore this new land.
Well, Mr. President, I think that you should order a unit of the Army to explore the land. You'll need a good leader and a leader who understands how to survive in the wilderness.
Yes, Gallatin, that is true. You know, I think I have someone in mind.
Who is that?
On a plantation near to us in Virginia lives a very able captain in the Army, Meriwether Lewis. He's one of the best leaders I have ever encountered, and his skills in the woods are better than any man I know.
Yes, I've heard of the man. He's highly respected.
Mr. Gallatin, I want him to begin work for me at once. We can't waste a minute.
Before they left, President Jefferson wrote them clear orders.
You are to be peaceful to all the native tribes. You are to explore the entire Missouri River and then find the Columbia River. You are to make maps and collect seeds. And above all else, you must write in your journals every day.
Every day? He really doesn't mean that.
Every day, captains are no pay.
Okay, he means it.
In November 1804, Captain Lewis and Clark decided to stay with the Mandan tribe, which is now called North Dakota. They built a fort called Fort Mandan.
It was very cold that winter.
December 17th, 1804, a very cold morning. The thermometer stood at 45 degrees below zero.
Minus 45 degrees is so cold that your skin will freeze in seconds if you are not covered up.
At Fort Mandan, Lewis and Clark discovered an amazing woman.
Captain Reese, I've discovered a remarkable native woman here who was taken from a tribe that lives very near the mountains.
You are right, Captain Clark. The doctor provides some forces from the mountains.
Well, there's a slight problem, Captain Reese.
What is that?
She's a little pregnant.
A little pregnant?
Well, actually, she's about to give birth any day now.
We'll just have to take the baby along with us.
Captain, I don't think the men will appreciate having the baby along.
We'll just have to get used to it. And besides, having a woman and child tell off the other tribes that we come in peace. No war party ever brings along women and children.
And boy, did we learn a lot about this amazing woman.
Hello, my name is Sacagawea. Well, that's what the Mandan tribes call me. Actually, my real name is Boyna, or grass woman in the Shoshone language. I'm a white-coated French trader called Charbonneau.
Hello, my dear. Our American friends are so happy that we are going on this trip to help them.
Oh, what does he know? Chief Longnight.
Or Captain Lewis.
And Chief Redhair?
Or Captain Clark.
Were so very interested in me when they heard I was from the Shoshone tribe. We live right against the Great Mountains. I was captured as a girl by the Blackfeet and sold to the Mandans.
That's right. She was a slave until I came along and freed her.
You didn't free me. You won me in a gambling game called Hide the Bones. And you almost ruined everything for me with the white chiefs.
Yeah. Always my fault. Well, we're going on a great trip, aren't we? That should make you happy. And I'll be the famous guy. But I bet I'll be so famous one day they'll put my face on a gold coin.
Fat chance. Face on a coin. Indeed. Now could you please leave me alone so I can finish telling my story? Well, as I was saying, Chief Redhair was so very nice to me. It was very hard giving birth to my child, Jean-Baptiste, or sometimes called Punk. We traveled by boats and eventually met up with my people, the Shoshone tribe. I was both happy and sad.
Captain Clark, the Shoshone refused to bargain with us for the horses. Without the horses, we'll never be able to get the mountain.
Captain Lewis, we must get across the mountains before winter. It is already September. Let's see if our Shoshone woman can help us talk to them.
Then it happened. Chief Redhair took me into the tent. And then, lo and behold, the chief was my own brother who I've not seen in many years.
My own sister. I thought you'd been killed.
No, my brother, I was captured. It's a long story. But these chiefs are both powerful and very kind. They took me along the trip with them, and they need your help.
Well, this changes everything. I'll see what I can do for them.
That night I was so proud of my older brother. I knew he'd be great someday, but I did not think he'd become the chief. Later that night when I talked to my brother, I was very sad.
Dear Boydie, I have some sad news for you. Our mother died shortly after you were captured. I wish she could have seen you one more time.
That night I cried, but I knew my love for my mother could never die. My love, my love, my love for you will never die. Many years ago I was taken from here, and oh, I'll miss my
1805, reached the Pacific Ocean in November 1805. Then they came back to St. Louis in 1806.
When they read home, people everywhere read their journals and said, "Let's go to Oregon!"
The first people to come to Oregon were fur trappers. Let me introduce you to one of our most famous early settlers, Dr. John McLaughlin.
Dr. McLaughlin was a very tall man and had curly white hair. I said Dr. McLaughlin was a very tall man.
I'm Dr. John McLaughlin, what have you brought for me? I always buy the best furs, no matter what they be. Beaver pelts make hats of felt, so open up those drums. But you just must walk away if you've brought me a skunk. Oh, but you just must walk away if you've brought me a skunk. Yuck. I'm Dr. John McLaughlin. I'm head of the Hudson Bay Company for this region. At first I lived at Fort Vancouver, but then I moved to Oregon City. Fur traders come to me with lots of different furs, and I buy them and send them to England where they are highly prized.
Dr. McLaughlin, where's the milk ice?
Very good, Landon. You can make a lot of things from milk.
And here are 2 raccoons.
Fine, but raccoon is not very valuable, but you can still make good hats from raccoon. What do you have, Tommy?
Dr. McLaughlin, I watched this skunk many times and I don't think it smells too bad.
Yes, it does. I don't think we can use that. And what do you have, Jonah?
Beaver pelts, 3 of them.
Excellent. The beaver pelts are very valuable. But you know, it's sad since the beaver's such an interesting animal.
Especially in the way it builds its dams. Beavers are always cutting down trees, and luckily in the Northwest we have a lot of trees, so we have a lot of beavers.
Yes, the year was 1843. Thousands and thousands of people started to travel to Oregon in covered wagons pulled by oxen.
The new settlers were moving to Oregon to start farms. You see, the land in the Willamette Valley is very good farmland.
They usually started in Independence, Missouri in the spring and made it to Oregon in October or November.
And they traveled over 2,000 miles, usually walking beside their wagon.
The wagons were pulled by oxen, and the kids had to do all sorts of chores.
Like helping to take care of the oxen?
We have to feed them and wash the dust off them.
Here they come now.
Who's gonna clean my nostrils out?
It's not my turn without a doubt.
Who's gonna get me watering pail?
We're gonna hit the Oregon Trail. Wagons west, move 'em out. Oregon west without a doubt. Wagons west, move 'em out. Oregon west without a doubt.
Women had a very difficult time on the trail.
They had to cook, clean, and sew all the clothes for the family.
Many women gave birth to children on the trail.
They also had to watch over the young children.
The trail was a very dangerous place and toddlers could easily get hurt.
And sometimes unexpected things happened. One woman wrote in her journal,
Last night, my clothes got in the wagon and the ox ate them up.
I don't know the
their project was going.
How about Kelly? What are you doing for a project?
I don't know. What do you think, Kellyanne?
Beats me. We can't think of anything, Mr. Tran. This is so boring.
Well, all I can say is if you don't figure out something soon, I'm going to ship you both to the town of Boring, Oregon.
Boring, Oregon? You mean there's a town called Boring?
Yes, and there are other towns with very interesting names. Well, maybe you should do a little research project about Oregon's names of towns.
Later that day, the girls took out a map of Oregon and were surprised to see some very interesting names.
Ella, listen to this. There's a Bend, Oregon. It was named after a bend in the river. And there's a Drain, Oregon, and a town named Riddle.
So, Rachel and Cambry, how's your project coming along?
Our team is way ahead on the book about Oregon. Why, we're now the part about how our capital, Portland, got its name. Whoa, hold everything. Portland isn't the state capital.
You know, you really need to check your facts.
Well, it is the biggest city, isn't it?
But that doesn't mean it's the capital of the state. The capital is Salem. Many times, the capital of a state is not the biggest city in the state.
That's right. And speaking about states, I think we have a skit about how Oregon officially became a state. Zach and Brooke?
The year was 1859. The day was February 14th, or Valentine's Day, and Oregon officially became a state.
This was the time that states had to decide whether they would allow slaves. Oregon was a free state and did not allow slaves.
And so it was part of the Union. That is why the words "the Union" are on the flag. You can also see wagons on the flag, and on the back there's a beaver.
Oregon is called the Beaver State, and its flag is the only state flag in the United States with something different on the back from the front.
Mr. Tran?
Yes, sir. We have made a poem about Oregon becoming a state on Valentine's Day.
Roses are red, violets are fine. Oregon became a state in 1859.
Oh, we're doing just fine. You've gotten 162 pages written already. And my father has been downloading pages from the internet for us.
You know, Rachel and Cambry, I want this to be your own work. Just downloading pages isn't going to give you any extra credits. Now, class, who is the next group to present?
We are, Mr. Tran.
Our
project is about the Tillamook burning.
The year was 1933. The country was in what was called the Great Depression, and times were very hard.
So loggers were lucky if they had a job, and logger companies kept working even if they were told it wasn't safe.
Today, August 14th, 1933, you may cut cheap only the early morning when it's cool. The danger of fire is just too great.
Yes, we understand.
But they didn't obey the forest ranger.
Come on, man, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's go back to work. We work till 5 tonight. We need the money.
Soon something terrible happened.
Hey, watch out. There's smoke coming from that old cedar tree you're dragging. Oh no!
And the fire started. Within seconds, because the forest was so hot and dry, it burned out of control.
We can't put the fire out. Get out, fast.
Fire spread and spread. For 11 days it burned uncontrolled.
It burned huge areas of the coastal range.
When it was finally put out, over 300,000 acres or over 12 million trees were destroyed. Also, millions of animals were killed. This was a huge loss and so pointless.
presented a project about the Great Dams of the Columbia River.
We are going to tell you that song.
This is a song about the Great Dams of the Columbia River.
The Bonneville Dam was finished in 1938. It generates electricity for the Northwest. The lights above us right now are being powered by the Bonneville Dam.
There was a man who was hired by the Bonneville Power Administration in the late 1930s to write songs about dams.
His name was Woody Guthrie. You may know one of the most famous songs, This Land Is Your Land.
But he also wrote this famous song about the Columbia River called The One Poem.
Green Douglas first where her waters cut through. Down her wild mountains and canyons she flew. Canadian northwest to the ocean so blue. So roll on, Columbia, roll on. Roll on, Columbia, roll on. Roll on, Columbia, roll on. Your power is turning our darkness to dawn. So roll on, Columbia, roll on. Tom Jefferson's vision would not let him rest. An empire he saw in the Pacific Northwest. St. Louis and Clark and they did the rest. So roll on, Columbia.
point of view when we study history.
They had very different presentations from other dams.
And give us the perspective from the viewpoint of the name of the animals.
When the dams were built, water backed up from the Great Columbia, where the Native Americans had fished for thousands of years.
The dams brought electric power and jobs to Oregon and changed the way of life for our tribes forever.
This is a drawing of the Great Falls that used to be on the Columbia River by the Dalles. The falls were called Silo Falls for thousands of years to fish and salmon.
Often there would be great festivals on the banks of the river.
It was a huge trading market near the falls.
But the falls are now gone.
When the dams were built, the water backed up and covered the falls.
The salmon no longer jumped the falls.
Lewis and Clark came to Oregon in 1805.
In less than 200 years, the white men had destroyed what we treasured for thousands of years.
Yes, Jackson?
We have a report about the civil rights movement in Oregon.
Good, let's hear it.
Most people think that Oregon is a friendly state, but unfortunately, it hasn't always been so friendly to minorities.
When Oregon became a state in 1859, it didn't permit slavery. Within, legislature passed laws forbidding African Americans to move here.
Throughout the late 1800s and early 1900s, Chinese and Japanese workers did not have the same rights as whites.
Oregon was also one of the last states to give women the right to vote.
In the 1950s, many signs that said whites only could be seen in restaurants and theaters in Portland.
But in the 1960s, a lot of things changed in our country.
People protested and the laws were changed.
During this time, there were many songs written about freedom and justice. Here's one of them.
I
bottles is a new state and you want to preserve it.
We learned to recycle bottles and cans long before most other states figured it out.
Laws are passed to make sure that beaches will be protected and always be available to the public.
Every year, thousands of people help clean up our beaches.
So, let's have a beach party. When we go to the beach, we bring lots of loot and wear a bunch of clothes over our bathing suits. 'Cause at the Oregon beach, we're not used to a brain. The water's cold and the wind is strong and last night we sunburned. Shoo-ah, 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 shoo-ah. Shoo-ah, 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 shoo-ah. When we go to the beach, there are kites in the breeze. But if you try to swim, you're sure to freeze. Burn. 'Cause at the Oregon beach, that is not rain. The water's cold and the wind is strong and last night we sunburned. Shoo-ah, 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 shoo-ah. Shoo-ah, 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 shoo-ah. That night, Rachel and Cameron were finishing their report.
There, it's done. 352 pages of our annual report. Wow, Mr. Tran is going to be very impressed. Well, I have to go home. Good night, Rachel.
Good night, Camry. Oh, well, it's off to bed. Good night, Fido.
Mr. Tran, my dog Fido ate my report last night. I had just finished page 352. Honestly.
Rachel, you really expect me to believe that old excuse? Let's see. Dog ate the report. I've heard that about 4,300 and...
No, Mr. Trainer, Dot really did need the report. It's just not there.
I'm sorry, but rules are rules. If you don't have your report to turn in today, you may not attend the party. Okay, everyone is finished except Ella and Killian. I believe you two have something to present?
Yes, we do. Don't we, Killian?
Oh, yeah, we do.
I think I'll give Miss Gracia Rodriguez a little call and have her come down and hear this report. Mrs. Gracia Rodriguez, I want you to listen to a little report. It seems that Ella and Killian maybe haven't taken this project as seriously as I would like them to. Ready, girls?
Miss Rachel Rodriguez, Mr. Tran, and our class, we like to tell you what Oregonians believe in.
We have seen a lot of skits and presentations about historical events.
But no one has said what makes Oregon and Oregonians special. As Oregonians, we believe
that our state is beautiful and we must preserve it. We believe
we should treat all of our citizens fairly, and that when we have caused someone an injury, we need to apologize and make it right. We believe
that when someone in our state needs help, we will help them. We believe
that we are proud of our pioneer heritage and that we will continue to be pioneers, inventing new and different ways of doing things.
We believe that there should be quality public education for all, although we don't always agree on how to fund it. We believe
that it is important to follow the law and that no one is above the law. We believe
that it will probably rain in Oregon in the winter, but that we can make jokes about the rain, for we have a good sense of humor. And finally, we believe
that Oregon is the best place on earth to live.
Wow, don't you...
Hello, room one.
Hello, Mr. Tran. This is Sophia, Rachel's mom. I just want to let you know I spent 2 hours cleaning up a beautiful one of Oregon. Looks like our dog Fido buried it last night in our backyard. I hope it wasn't due today.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yes, except it doesn't look very good right now, but if you need it, I can bring it in right away.
Yes, Mrs. Jacobowski, that would be a good idea. It is due today.
Fido also buried 6 phones, 2 tennis balls, and 2 cat toys. I can bring them in as well.
No, I think just the report will be enough. Rachel and Cambry, that was Mrs. Jacobowski. The report has been found. Class, I'm very proud of you all. You learned a great deal about our history, and you are all invited to the party.
This is my
Today's just going to be a little bit different. As many of you know, this is the last show that I'm going to be at Archer Glen doing, and the reason for that in part goes back many, many years, in that when our son, who was a wonderful redheaded boy in the 4th grade, was in 4th grade at his school, his teacher in Portland made all the kids in the 4th grade class do projects. That's how this show came about, in part, because I wrote it about his own experience. Well, that little red-headed boy is now 34 years old, and we have a beautiful little red-headed granddaughter by the name of Rowan, which in Scottish means red. I am retiring to basically be a papa. And I'm very much looking forward to that, and they live in California. So this will be, as I've mentioned before, this will be the last show that I do at Archer Glen. I want to really, really thank this school. This has been one of the great, great relationships that I've had. The relationship started because there was a teacher, Mrs. Zumberis, who had children at another school who had seen what I had done and decided to bring the show here. And I've been able to work with Mrs. Page and Mrs. Beamer and our wonderful 4th grade teachers right now, as well, and a number of other teachers who have gone to other locations, and 3 incredible principals, Mr. Miller, Mr. Wolfram, and Mr. Smith. And this has been an incredible journey, and I thank this school so much for all that it has given to me, and the countless kids that have performed this show, and the teachers who have worked so hard. So with that, I say thank you.